That's in the numbers. 16 wins in a row. Welcome back, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having a magical day. Thank you so much for taking the time to support the channel. Playing Magic the Gathering Arena Standard Best of 1. Milky Smooth, Mono White, version 16. In Mythic rank, going 16 wins and 0 losses. What? My highest win streak ever, which has not ended. I'm still undefeated, but we had to take the time to get this video made for you all today because I can't just go undefeated forever and ever, right? I will update you guys as to where we get to with that win streak, of course, in the description below, or maybe we'll even make another video about it. But before we get to the glorious gameplay and the win streak, we're going to show that off and talk about the meta, what we're seeing, what's changed in the deck, and how those two correlate, of course. But we're going to break down the deck list, talk about the strategies, the synergies, and then we'll demonstrate all of this within the gameplay footage, same as always, to give you a deep understanding of exactly how you want to play individual matchups and the deck as a whole. Then wrapping up with our final thoughts, deck review, and probably tooting our own horn just a little bit further. So without further ado, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even become a YouTube member if you want to make my day as magical as I'm about to make yours. Let's take a look at the deck. All right, here we are. So first things first, I gotta come clean. A lot of the power of this deck comes from the deck name. New deck 123. Need I say more? New deck 123, 16-0, 100% win rate right across the top. On the play 10 times, on the draw 6 times. Playing really against a new field than we're typically used to in Standard. What you'll notice here, and what I really try to highlight within today's video, is that we no longer have the need to really protect against low mana based removal. Vanishing Verse is a bit of a thing, but stuff like Blizzard Brawl is no longer an ordeal. Now, typically we wanted, and I myself focused on the Allenbach Escort to give lifelink against the other aggro matchups, to give indestructible, right? This was a big sway in our favor, but we're not seeing that mono green anymore. And as we break down the deck list in a second, you'll notice that our changes have, been implemented to reflect that. So the meta has definitely changed, and what we're doing is just focusing on going super aggressive while super defensive as well at the same time through the taxation effects that we'll break down for you. So we're seeing a lot of Naya Ruins, Naya Humans. Get out of here, right? Going 3-0 against them. Just a fine-tuned Boros version. Still an incredibly aggressive and popular deck. Slaying other mono white decks. You have to have the latest version, right? Slaying the old versions. And then the Orzhov build. Typically our least favorable matchup. Not a problem because the taxation is so heavy. Not really seeing mono black like we typically have. And again, this is over 16 games. Seeing a good chunk of the meta. This is a nice sample size per deck, which is decent. And then just getting into the single games of the off-brand shenanigans here, right? Grixis, Selesnya, Rakdos, Golgari, and a little bit of Abzan here as well. So doing very, very nicely for ourselves with new deck 123, and this is actually Magic the Gathering Arena Assist, and you can download that for free through the link tree if you want. Now let's talk about the deck list. Of course, we're playing Standard Best of 1 with a 2.5 average mana value. This is the curve of the deck. With an aggro deck, we really want to keep that as low as possible, and this is fairly high for an aggro deck. However, the abilities that we do gain access through these 3 drops are definitely worth it, and you'll see why here in just in a second. 36 creatures to our 2 non-creatures, so again, basically everything that we will be playing acts as a source to deal damage to our opponent, which is quite nice. And in fact, even these 2 non-creatures do as well, because the 2 non-creature spells are they're spells that create actually 2 creatures instead of 1, which is fantastic. So 22 land in the build, and the 2 non-creature spells, Amiri's Call will actually double as 2 other lands as well. So bringing that total up to 24 if we want. Paying life, not necessarily a big deal within the deck because I bet I can kill you or drain your health points faster than you can do that to us in return, right? And then we ourselves have a form of life gain mitigation through the life gain, life loss, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Intrepid Adversary is that form of life gain and that life loss or life drain mitigation, right? So it's going to keep us alive against the aggro matchups that we do encounter. Talking about the land first, 18 basics, 2 Seats of the Empire. This acts as removal, 2 Cave Dragons acting as a form of off-the-board creature base, which is really nice. So it's not in the board state during your opponent's turn. They will need to deal with it with mana on their turn at instant speed, or with, the land, which still is, again, going to be at instant speed. And then the Amiri's Call. This gives the rest of our creatures indestructible, which is really nice. It makes 2 4/4 angels, which is really nice. But the thing is, these creatures will be in play. The 4/4 angels, and even the indestructibles can be killed with a meat hook or like a Shadow's Verse or whatever. Shadow's Verse. What's that card even called? Shadow's Verdict. Shadow's Verse. It could be a new card. Let's go. But these will be in play, so they're kind of prone to removal, whereas the land has a little bit of a bumper and that protection on the removal front there. So, both on the field and off the field creatures, and the removal through the Seat of the Empire. That's the land. Going way too in depth with this, more than I should. The Legion Angel is the Lotto card in the deck. If you get this, it's a body that has evasion through the flying. It's dealing 4 damage, which is massive. It can receive the buffs from the rest of your deck. We'll get through that in a second. And then it pulls another copy of itself through the sideboard. 3 copies of it there. Beautiful, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It's so good because, they have to remove it. If it's single target removal, well, now there's another one in your hand. Do you have another single target removal? And you have another, and you have another? It really does add up and is unfortunate if you are facing it. If you've got it in your hand, though, it's like I say, it's that lottery card. You get it. It's fantastic. Let's go to Value Town. The 3 drops in the deck are absolutely fantastic. First and foremost, we want to be as aggressive as we can with our cards as we play them, and then open up our attacking lane so we can get consistent damage turn after turn. This is done through the creatures that exile our opponent's blockers: Skyclave Apparition, Brutal Cathar. The Skyclave can exile non-creatures as well. If their mana value is less than 4, they're non-token. The Cathar can take token creatures, which is nice. So, you exile something with the Skyclave, they remove the Skyclave. Oh no, you take the token with the Cathar, that's fine, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But again, the main objective of the Skyclave and the Cathar is just to open up your attack lanes to make sure you're getting consistent damage turn after turn. And then that damage is exemplified through Adeline Resplendent Cathar. Its power is equal to the number of creatures that we control, and whenever you attack, you create a creature, so that power will increase turn after turn if they're not defending, which is fantastic. It has vigilance, so you can both attack and defend with it. And again, this is a big body, and if you can keep those attack lanes open by removing their blockers through the exile, keep Adeline attacking, that is going to close out the game very quickly. We also have evasion through flying, not only the Angel, but the Adeline here as well as a 3-drop. So we're either playing aggressively or we're playing defensively, and now you can make this distinguation. I won't even try. At the first couple turns of your match, what deck is your opponent playing? Do you need to tax them? Do they have Meat Hook? Do they have Blood on the Snow, Doomscar, Farewell, whatever it happens to be? Do they have something that directly impacts you in a negative fashion that you will need to tax? If so, definitely do that. That's your first objective. If not, though, then you can go in with the more aggressive variant. Keep those attack lanes open like we talked about already. But again, your first and foremost objective is to make sure that you are not losing advantage of your field state through the field wipes that your opponent may have, through the taxation of not only Redain, God of the Worthy, but also Thalia, Guardian of Thabarin. Non-creatures cost 1 more to cast, and then non-creatures that are 4 or greater mana value will cost 2 more to cast, which will bring it up to an additional 3. We absolutely love it. Again, first strike through Thalia, as well as the Nightside Moonrage Brute, which is very good. So you can push up the first strike creatures, and your opponents won't really be able to block them by gaining any value, right? They're not blocking and losing their creature while removing your creatures. Like, they block and they just remove your creature. You get to keep your creature, and how long can they continue to maintain that advantage, which is negative, in fact. So That's really nice. The first strike through the 2 creatures. They can power up not only through the Intrepid Adversaries, paying 2 to any number of times, put that many +1/+1 counters on it, the Valor counters, and then your other creatures all get +1/+1 equal to the number of Valor counters that are put onto the Intrepid, which is really nice. And then we also have the Luminarch Aspirant, which can distribute the +1/+1 counters before our combat, which is amazing. And again, on the first strike, so your opponent cannot block against them successfully. We love it. And then, you know, really aggressive turn 1s, and always making sure that we're using our mana base effectively through double drops as quickly as possible. And that's made, you know, an option in this deck that typically wasn't, as we weren't really drawing or running this many 1-drops before. The Hopeful Initiate, it's a 1/2 with training, so it's going to power up when it attacks with something also attacking with greater power. You can pay 3 to remove 2 counters from creatures among you control. Not a hard thing to do to nuke an enchantment or artifact. Super helpful in the meta. And then the Usher is very nice because not only is it a beautiful 1-drop, but you can also use it as a mana sink for 2 extra mana to go wide with another token. Those tokens get powered up through the adversary. It's a, you know, a 2/1 here as well if you're interested. I'm sure you know though. The adversary is a 3/1 organically, and each time you pay into it, of course, that's going to grow as well. The Luminarch can push in not only to the first strike, but to the life gain as well for value, to make sure that you're sustaining yourself in those aggro mirror matches. And yeah, that's the deck. I think we've really talked about everything here. Attacking with the first strike is fantastic because you're going to gain advantage throughout the turns of attacking and them losing their defenders. Opening up the attack lanes through the exile of their creatures and going wider through your own creatures is, you know, the name of the game, right? That's really what you want to be doing, while simultaneously taxing your opponent so they can't use the field wipes or removal against you effectively. And then if you get the lottery card, you know, can't complain. So again, you guys, holy Toledos. If we jump back to this, I'm sure I already showed you this at the start, but one more time can't hurt. Magic the Gathering Arena Assistant, my stats, new deck 1, 2, 3. That's the power. Make sure to name this deck when you import it to new deck 1, 2, 3, and I'm sure you're gonna have some mild success with it here as well, and just absolutely slaying it, which is fantastic. So enjoy the deck list, you guys. Make sure to like the video, to show your support, subscribe to the channel, and maybe even become a YouTube member. Let's get into some Mythic gameplay footage. Going first, it's going to be a massive help. Only 2 lands, and Miss Maya is going absolutely insane. She says that's fine though. Don't worry about it, human. Just put me on the screen instead. Ain't enough complaining, just put me up on the big screen, human. Hitting for 3. Our opponent really hasn't had a chance to do anything yet. I'm worried about a meat hook, and we're gonna pay 3 life to tax it. Absolutely. I'll spread the threat. I mean, yes, we do want to push up one thing to get around the meat hook, but at the same time, we suspect single target removal, and then we're going to play God of the Worthy anyways. Whoa. 3/1 with flash. Pay 1. Sacrifice it to destroy artifact or enchantment. That's interesting. They're going to take the Luminarch here for sure. Paying life for Redain. Looking for our 4th land. If not, we'll probably just dump into Usher of the Fallen. Spirited Companion for the draw. It's a 1/1. Now their 3rd land, I'd assume. Right. Kind of hope not, if I'm being totally transparent, but here it is. There we go. I shall swing. Swing, bada bada. There's the chump block. That's fine. Here's Thalia. I like to tax it, tax it. I like to tax it, tax it. It's been a long day. Typically I film in the morning. It's mid-afternoon, for sure. A little bit behind on, well, I'm gonna be honest, everything, but we'll overcome it eventually. Or we won't. Oh gosh. That's the 4th land. Okay. So I don't think they will hook, because they'd have to single target a few things. So let's force that single target. And, like, you know, they probably want to take Thalia or Redain. And they may still do this. But now the Intrepid is a massive threat as well. So, you know, it's either deal with the Intrepid, which you should still do, or deal with the threat that's holding you back from your meat hook, also known as the cheat hook. We do decide to take a dump. Just a little one. And you know what? Sadly, I do suspect another flash blocker here, but it is what it is. Just go for it. It could even be a Wanderer, right? XL. Actually, no, it could not be, because Thalia would price that at 5 instead of its typical 4. Most worried about a vanishing verse. That's a timeout. 4 mana available. Thinking it through. You know, do I take the Intrepid, reduce my overall damage by 3, or do I take a Redain, reduce overall damage by 3, or Thalia for that matter? But then they're left with that Intrepid and that form of life gain. Looks like we just get to take damage down to 2. It's their main phase. Do we still have an opponent? Is the question. Are they absolutely, you know, disgusted with the Thalia Redain 2/3? Could be. The Intrepid probably did not help. I honestly thought they'd still be here. At what point did they leave, you guys? You guys and girls, I suppose. Chat. When did our opponent check out? I must have missed it. But this is gonna bring things to the conclusion here, I believe. We can just repeat last turn. I think they're still here. I believe there was just a mouse over our Intrepid. Just a split second, I'm sure it flashed up. Maybe that was just the client. And, you know, making for some great content in today's video. You know, this is a lot of what playing mono white is. Trying to go incredibly fast and running into these walls of rope. It's like, you know, some outdoor challenge, right? What's all with all these ropes I gotta get through here? not a child. This isn't a playground. I'm just trying to take dumps in my interactive adversary. And there we go. Oh my gosh. Pushing our win rate even further. This will be 13-0. Going first. Keep the hand. It's a lot of land, but it's turn 2 Thalia, and we just love it. Interesting. Thalia might not be the correct play, because they're also a mono white deck. The first strike is fantastic, but we should play accordingly. Hopefully they don't have their own. Hit for 3, down to 17, they won't block. A wedding announcement, totally acceptable. We push in. Swing for 8. There's at least one blocker with the token. Down to 13. They keep the usher. Double strike if equipped. Maul of the Skyclaves, anyone? Here's a token. Hello, good game. Still very risky bisky. They hit us with flying, I don't want to do it. But they just don't want to sit here. I'm weighing my options, you know, with a win streak like this. I now believe 14-0. We cannot stop, and we will not stop. Going first. And looks okay. Looking for the third land. If not, it's okay. For a bit. For a time. Demir could be Esper. Ooh, non-land card. Did they just take our Thalia? I'm 100% sure they do. 100% certain Thalia is gone. Mana value 2 or less as well, because it was not cleaved. They do not take Thalia. They're a high-ranked player as well. Very interesting to me. It is a Grixis build with creatures. That's why they don't take it. Huh. Right? What is going on here? Let's train the Initiate. They could, trade with it. Guess that would be fine. Looking for that third and fourth land. Thalia is subject to removal here. find that to be an acceptable trade. Third. Oh, yes! 15-0. 15 and oh, let me get this up for you guys here. Holy Toledos. On the draw, at a certain point, mathematically, we have to lose. It's either that or my heart's gonna pop. One or the other. Hello, good game. Currently at 15 wins in a row. No blocks, let it through. They may boast to make the 1-1. Against another mono white deck on the draw will be tough. We have some nice 3-drops. We have a nice 4-drop. We have late game response. I expect to lose Thalia to an exile. There it is. Beautiful. And I will trade with the Usher. I should have done it last time, but it's fine here as well. They should attack with both, or just the one. Not the Usher. It's either both or just the token. I'm gonna let it through a second time. It hurts. It hurts. But it allows me to do this and not necessarily miss out entirely. They still take out the Usher, but I get the 1-1. Right? It's like we trade from them having 2 to us having 2 creatures in play. Start lacing out these angels if we get the chance. Turn by turn, that will eat through their removal while providing hopefully massive board advantage. Restoration is fantastic. Can bring this Usher back. It's a good card. Really high value card. Draws a Plains as well. How do you not? Swing for 8. I'm sure they block 5 of it. And they can bring back the Usher by discarding a land. But it's still a good get. And they, of course, have to deal with those 2 Luminarchs as well. Holy Toledos. Wow. That cannot be right. What? Can someone explain to me what just happened in the comments? I'm very confused. I need someone to help me out with what just happened. Please and thank you. They wanted the removal. They wanted to take that token out. They don't want me to assemble too many creatures. That has to be it. There was reasoning behind that play. Taking the 5 damage happened to be part of the narrative, which means they're comfortable with their life total and the ability to gain life, to mitigate that life loss. So I'm sure there is an intrepid adversary in hand or something. I don't want to get too confident, but it was a nice hit. That's a good play. And how do you, like, this is good. Down to 2. Feeling fairly confident. We have the flyer that can take lethal. Don't want to jinx myself. This will be win number 16 in a row, which I don't actually think I've ever done. I've never had a streak like this. Just 100% unmitigated. Dirty doggedness. That's in the numbers. 16 wins in a row from like 88%. I was way down in the percentages. Let me throw up this screen here. Now to 100% win rate, 16 in a row. I'm going to have to redo the intro and the outro because I did that when we were at 12 wins. Holy Toledo is going from like 88% this morning, just playing kind of off stream by myself, all the way up to 12 wins in a row, at which point I was like, you know what, I have to record an intro and an outro to this. I actually did that and then continued to play more matches, but we didn't lose any of those either, so you guys get the 4 bonus matches here. We went from 12 to 16 wins. If we can make it to 20 and 0, I'll do another video. If not, I'll just update you guys on the progress, and you know, just believe in the heart of the believe in the new deck 1 2 3. We have to transcend the heart of the cards into new deck 1 2 3, and you know, who knows what our limit is. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, become a YouTube member, but most importantly, have a magical day, and we'll see you soon in the next.